it's going to make you worse at your job. And I was just there going, well, personally, it's really helped me and it's made me much faster. So I thought I'll put together a little training session and show our UX team like what I do. And that went really well. So I thought, well, like I'm sure there's other people in the UX community that would be interested. So I put together the another training session, which is based on this one, and over 100 people came. And then I was invited to go to UX Scotland, and I did it live. And then I've done like Birmingham Tech Week, Women in Tech, won an award for all these sessions I was doing for free. So that was fun. But that's me. So I'm still at the AHS at the moment. But I really enjoy doing UX design. I really enjoy kind of like using Figma. So I often make personal projects. So on like evenings and weekends, I'll be designing something. And the project I'm going to be talking to you guys about today, one of my friends, Gannon, he was turning 40, and he's got a wicked job. He's like got loads of friends. He's just wonderful. But he always struggles to find a girlfriend. So I thought, what do you get a guy who's got everything for his 40th birthday? So I thought I'd design him a dating profile and I would find him love for his birthday. So as I do all my own user research, I thought the first thing I need to do is I need to start doing some user research. So I was like, right, well, Gannon really likes going to wrestling shows. So maybe if I talk to people that like wrestling, they will be able to tell me what I should put on his profile. So I decided to go to Reddit. And this was a big mistake. I got, everyone was like, you are super creepy. You are going to get arrested. Stop messing with your friend's love life. And I was like, oh dear, maybe these aren't the people I need to speak to. So I decided that maybe if I go and speak to people that are looking for a relationship at the moment, so I was like, oh, maybe I should go and set up some dating apps profiles and talk to people that are actually looking for relationships, because Reddit is obviously wrong. I can't be wrong. So I asked John, so this is John, my partner, I was like, do you mind if I set up some dating profiles? And he was like, no, that's fine, no questions. So I was like, right, so let's get going on the old dating apps. So the first thing that I decided that I would need would be a profile picture. So I asked several different AI generators, can you create a drawing of a wrestling fan for me, make it look like a real photograph? And as you can see, you get different results based on the different image generators that you use. So there is a lot of ethical debate about image generators, because they've basically just stolen loads of people's artwork. The one that's the most ethical would be Adobe Firefly. They've actually paid some towards the art that they have actually trained their models on. So if you do worry about the ethicalness, Adobe Firefly, you could argue is the most ethical, but there's a whole debate around that, which we won't go into today. So I picked myself a picture. I used Canva to say, have you met Gannon? Because I'm trying to find a new match for my friend. So I wanted to be very clear that I'm not catfishing anybody. I'm clearly after research. I also asked ChatGPT to write a little message to the people that I'm going to be contacting. And it's quite long. So a tool that I use is something called Goblin Tools. So Goblin Tools, its main thing is a magic to-do list. So if you ever need anything breaking down, so for example, on Saturday, my friend Amelia said, oh, I need instructions to get ready and come and pick you up. So I put that in and it shows you exactly what you need to do. But you can also use it for work things. So like if you were designing a dating app, it tells you like you need to research the current dating market and then all the steps you need to take, and then determine the scope of the project, all that sort of stuff. So especially for people that have like ADHD, that can struggle with tasks, like actually having a to-do list like this, that can be useful. However, I don't tend to use it very much. I use it for this formalizer. So let me grab that text back up. Okay, so the one that I use all the time, so whenever I write a message to anybody, I always put it through this more accessible one at work. My writing skills aren't that good, to be honest. So I put it through accessible, and I'm making sure that I'm making myself understood. So that's always very good. So it's using language that should be understood by most people. Another one that is quite useful, especially if you're making presentations, is the unwaffle. So it takes out all of the unnecessary stuff, and it will just literally just put it as brief as possible. And then finally, the one that I use is bullet points. So if you've got a lot of text, it will bullet point it for you. So Formalizer, I would definitely recommend if for writing. You can use ChatGPT, however, unless you set yourself up like a custom GPT, which I did, I like this. It tends to write quite formally, so you have to give it good prompts. But yeah, so that's Goblin Tools. So I had my profile picture. I had what I was going to send people. So I was like, yeah, ready. I'm going to set myself up some dating profiles. So I did. I started, I think it was Match.com I started with, and I went through the very long profile, and it was very not fun. But I got to the end, had my profile, and it was just impossible to use. All I wanted to do was search for some people that like wrestling and ask them like what they want in a partner. And it was, unless I put my credit card details into these apps, I couldn't even message anybody. And I was like, this is ridiculous. Like you can make a version of an app, a free app that is usable by everyone, and make money through premium things by making it useful for people. So I was like, right, okay, I'm not designing a dating profile anymore. I'm going to design a full dating app because that's how I get. So I was like, seen a problem, going to solve it. So the first thing that I did is I started researching, and I started talking to people. So I went out on Facebook, and I was like, is anyone looking like in a looking for a relationship at the moment? Anyone dating? Anyone using dating apps? Can you get in touch? And I just started speaking to these people. I went on dating groups. I went on like the child-free dating groups. They were really, really helpful. There's loads of like adventure singles. Like there's all these groups, and everyone is just willing to tell me how awful dating apps are. Like I didn't really hear any kind of like positive stuff. So I was able to get lots and lots of information from the users. And that enabled me to build my first user persona. So this is Amelia. So Amelia's from the child-free community. So Amelia loves her life, and she loves being child-free. She has no interest in having any children. However, what she finds with dating apps is that people message her thinking that she'll either change her mind if she meets the right person, or they've already got 2 kids, but they don't want any more, so it's fine. And she's like, no, I don't want any children in my life, which is absolutely fine. But so all the information that I got from the child-free community, that enabled me to build this user persona. So now that I've got myself a template, I can use AI in order to help me to make some more. So templates are really, really important when you're using AI, because you need to see AI like a baby. Like it doesn't know what it's doing unless you teach it. So by giving it a template and showing them exactly what it is you need, will show the AI how to work. So I've got my user. So this image here, when I joined the NHS, there wasn't any kind of like templates or anything, so everyone seemed to be working differently. So I created a Miro, and then I just stole it. Anytime I found like a good template, like from a course or anything, I just put it all on this board. So now I've got a really good basis for like my UX work. So you've got yourself a template. Next important thing to do is make sure you're removing all of your GDPR information. You must take out any names, addresses, workplaces, anything like that, because if you don't, you can be fined quite heavily. It's also really important to check with your workplace whether they will allow you to do this sort of things, but this is for like a personal project. And I'm sure everyone's aware that you can search a document and use find and replace to get rid of it quite quickly. But what I would recommend doing is keeping like a little spreadsheet and protecting your variables in like a password protected spreadsheet. So you know that Becky Floyd is user A and like she works at NHS Scotland, but I'm changing that to healthcare industry. So just be really go through it. So like, for example, me, on Teams, it might be Rebecca instead of Becky, and you need to check for different spellings and stuff. So make sure you're reading through it and making sure that you've taken it all out. So you've got your template and you've anonymized any information that you're going to be putting in. You'll need a good prompt. So this is how I tend to write my prompts. So I start with a role, so what I want the AI to pretend to be. I give it clear instructions of what I want it to make, and then I'll break it down into steps to say, do this, do that, do that. And then I will say, this is what I want it to look like. This is the outcome. And then I'll narrow it down by saying like, make sure you write in UK English, or I need it to be under 1,000 words, that sort of stuff. So here's one that you could use as a content editor. So I want you to act as a content editor. I want you to modify the provided template. So I will attach the Amelia user persona by changing its content to become. And then I will have spoken to lots of different users in a certain group. So for example, I spoke to lots of guys who felt that they were sending hundreds of matches and never getting any back, not even a hello. So they'll just feel ghosted. So what I would say would be like, to become a user persona for people that feel that they are ghosted on dating apps, based on the transcripts that I have provided you. And then I give it the steps to do that, and then tell it at the end goal. So you just need to make sure that you're attaching the template and all of the information. You can't build user personas without talking to people. If you do, remember all those Reddit people that I spoke to first that said it was a bad idea. Like, the AI has access to all of that. You are not getting proper information. So you must actually speak to people before you do this. And that helped me get, so unfortunately it doesn't come out like this. It doesn't come out all pretty with a nice photo and stuff. You've got to do that yourself. But the text, it gets you about, I'd say 70% of the way there. Like, you might want to tweak it a bit. You might want to be like, right, okay, this, that, and the other. But it definitely helps, and that enabled me to write Ben, who constantly feels that he's ghosted and overlooked. Olivia, who is just far too busy for dating apps. Like, she just gets like burnt out and frustrated every time she tries to use them. And then Matteo, who's a bit of a playboy, likes to use the apps for a bit of fun, which again is completely okay if you're telling people what you're using it for. And like, he might use it more for kind of like friendship matches and want to go fun place. So they've all got different needs and different pain points about dating apps. So now when we're moving forward, we can think, if I do that, is that meeting Amelia's needs? If I do that, is it meeting Matteo's needs? So that sort of stuff. So it's always user-centered. So as well as talking to people, I think it's really important to look at what the science says. So I love consensus. So all you do is ask it a question. So, for example, how do you build a genuine connection in a relationship? And it'll give you a bit of a summary, but the important bit, which is good, is that down here is all the studies that have been done on that subject. So, like human trials, observational studies, you can use all that information to become aware of what you're researching. So another one that I use all the time is Perplexity. Perplexity is like Google done well. It's like you would Google it, you would search a subject, and it will give you that summary just like Consensus did, but it gives you all the sources for the websites it's used. So you might get Reddit, but you might also get different like well-respected websites. You can go into those websites and actually look at what they're saying. But something that's new that only came out this week is something called deep research. So you can add deep research and it will actually do competitor analysis for you. And it seems to be okay. Like it's a free thing at the moment, but it takes a long time, which is why I'm not going to show you today. But I'd have a play with it and see what you think. I've always liked Perplexity, like the UX and their UI is one of the better AI tools. So yeah, I definitely recommend Perplexity if you're searching for things rather than ChatGPT. Okay, so I have my user interviews, I've got my science, I've got what does the internet say. So my next step was to make a research repo. So let me get this up. So basically what I've done is I've put all that information into a custom GPT. And now I can ask it specific questions. So this is something that I use all the time. So when I'm coming back from the gym, for example, I'd be like, right, I've got a new idea for a compatibility game. Can we talk through it? So we did like a politics one the other day, which was called Leader of the Land, and basically interviews you to see what kind of leader you would be. Basically, I didn't want someone to have to put on their profile whether they were like a Tory or whether they were a Democrat or Republican, because that can be very divisive and different people have different politics for different reasons. So I thought if we did like a Leader of the Land game, you could see what their answers were to shall we kill all the children or not, that sort of stuff. But yeah, so you're using the voice mode, you can talk through. So I've basically used this in order to kind of craft what I want to do. So the good thing about this sort of stuff is that you can ask it what are the top 3 pain points and it will refer to the research that I have put into it. So the way that works, it's something called retrieval augmented generation. It's called RAG. Like I have to always look it up what that's called. I can never remember the acronym. But the way that kind of AI normally works is you're a user and you're like, I want to know about dating apps. So what happens is you, ChatGPT, let's say, will go and look up all of the information from the internet that it's scraped, and it will give you a good guess. So all those Reddit people, they're going to come up in that. So you're not getting accurate information. If you use RAG and you give it documents that you want it to work from, it will go and it will look at your database first. If it finds the answer that it needs, it brings it to you. So this is really good for like search things. So if you're ever doing a custom project, making yourself a custom GPT will make sure that the information that you're getting from OpenAI is a lot better. So that QR code, I went to a live lecture from CS50, so that's Harvard's computer science course, and there was a guy who was doing an explanation on how Harvard University built a AI that would let people ask it questions about the coding course, but not give them the answer. So like they wouldn't give it the answer, so it would act as a rubber duck or a teaching assistant. And so that QR code links to that video. It's exactly the same as what I saw live, but he's really good. So if you want to learn how to code it, that's how you do it. I just use the custom GPTs because it's a lot easier. And I don't know Python. Okay, so we've got to the point where we've spoken to all our users, done a bit of sciencing, and I've got to the point where I know what my 3 pain points are and what I want to solve. So what are the problems I want to solve in these dating apps? So this is when you would go and do some ideation. So I'm going to show you the AI tools in FigJam. So I know a lot of people use Miro, but I have a free educational account from Figma, so I always kind of use Figma. And FigJam is basically their version of Miro, and they've got loads of AI tools. So this board, basically, I have since designing this app, I have actually started recruiting some people to help me with it, and I'll introduce you. So this is the lovely Polly. So this is Polly was doing a career change from graphic design. So I was mentoring her. Rachel actually mentored me. She was works at Hippo. She's an amazing user researcher. As I've been friends with him from secondary school, and he's worked in tech for like over 20 years, so he knows everything. Tanya was like amazing at School of Code and like was so on it with coding. Millie's just done like an AI master's, and Jordan also from School of Code. So put together a little crack team. But so this is the board that we use when we're doing when we're speaking about what we've done. But I'll show you the different tools that we use to help us. So the Figma AI tools can be found up here. So it's generate. So let's say that you're trying to get some ideas. You can ask it to create a mind map. How might we create a dating experience that prioritizes meaningful connections over appearances? And it will give you some ideas. So it could be like, personality questions, shared interests, and then you can generate ideas again. And yeah, it gives you more ideas. So really, when you're idea generating, I would always start with your own first. Then you can use things like FigJam, but always you've got all your different LMMs, large language models. So let me just show you those. So this is the AI tools handout, which I will give you at the end. This has got all of the prompts that I talk about today, all of the different different tools. We would not have time to go through all of them today. But so like Claude, Pi, Gemini, Bing, OpenAI, Grok, if you can get around the Twitter of it all, and then DeepSeek. I did remove it a couple of weeks ago because I asked it a question and it like censored stuff. And I was like, didn't know about that. However, I asked it a question about American politics today and it gave me all the answers that I wanted. So swings and roundabouts, really. So I might put DeepSeek back in. But if you're doing idea generation, I would ask all of it because they're all based on different information and data. So you're going to get different ideas. But I would always start with your own thoughts first because that's how you're going to get unique ideas. So that's mind mapping. I'm going to delete that. So another thing that I think it's really good at is helping you sort your stickies. So I've deleted everything. So something that we did is we looked at all the different pain points that people have had. So superficiality, fear of rejection, no quite different matches. And then we had these ones that are kind of like everybody has. And then for the individual personas. We did some for that. So what you can do is once you've got all of your ideas, you can, if you get all your stickies and then go to organize and sort stickies by topic. Okay, so then it's kind of sorting it into topics. So let's say we'll do user safety and profile management, and that's still a little bit too generic. If you go organize again by topic, and then once you're like, right, I'm happy with what it's sorted, I'd probably go one more down actually, but won't do that now because you've all got dinner to eat. You click summarize. It will give you a list of things that we're talking about in that subject. And then when you're in a meeting, so on Thursday we've got a meeting, so I've done that up here, and we're going to go through each of them. So that's kind of like using it to summarize. Use flows. So something that I was coming back from a Zumba class in the gym because I like to keep fit, and I knew that the onboarding that I've done is it's epic. Like we can't build this. Well, we could, but it will take us forever. So what I thought we need to do is like break it down to the MVP. So I was talking to ChatGPT on the way back, and I was like, right, I want to sort out the onboarding for the MVP. So we talked it through, and then after our conversation, where I decided what I wanted it to be, I asked it just to write it out. So it's written it out for me. And then you can put it in the generate tool. Where's it going to appear? That is one of the annoying things about this. It just appears somewhere. Let's pretend it appeared over here. So this is like my MVP one. So it would have come up with a few, like it's not 100% by any means, but the majority of the boxes are there, and it allows me just to copy the boxes so I don't, and then I can rearrange things like so like I've had to add a few of the like starting points and things. But it got me there, and then I was able to go, right, for the MVP, we're going to concentrate on messagings and the dates and all that sort of stuff. So that's useful. And then another one that it can do is make icebreakers. So I was like, right, I've got a meeting on Thursday, let's do a little icebreaker beforehand. So I came up with the idea that let's take a date idea, and everyone has to think, how can we make it as bad as possible, and then we can vote on it. So it generated, there you go. So we're going to ruin a picnic, we're going to ruin an escape room, and we're going to ruin a cooking class. So it only put 3 stories, but so I added the extra ones. But yeah, it's these little things that save you time. Like you could just say, come up with an icebreaker, and it could be completely rubbish. So giving it more of your information, your ideas, just helps with that sort of stuff. Right, so I think that's all the Fig Jam. As I say, Miro's got them as well. We haven't got access to the AI tools in at work, so I haven't really used them that much, and I cannot pay for another AI subscription. So you guys would have to try out the Miro ones, but yeah, Fig Jam works pretty good. So once you have all of your like you've made your user flow and you know what you're going to be making, the next thing would be to prototype it. So what we decided is that have you met Gannon, rather than just being like an Argus catalogue of people you swipe through and go, oh, he's fit, she's fit, he's fit, she's fit, and just never get any matches and crying yourself to sleep, as a lot of my friends seem to be doing at the moment. what we're going to do is we're going to do it based on interest. So Gannon can search wrestling, and all the people that have mentioned wrestling will show to him, so he can apply to go on those dates, and then he'll fall in love and live happily ever after. It'll be fantastic. So I'm going to show you some of the new AI Figma tools that can help you build the prototypes. When it loads, my internet is too slow. Okay, so these are all my screens. We have been doing it for a while. And these are not the first ones. I actually made a whole app for his birthday last year, which I will never show anyone because it is horrendous. But I had to do it really quick because his birthday was coming up. But these ones, I'm quite happy with. So I'll show you how it kind of works. So you sign in and you find today's matches, or you can go straight to the dates page. So this is a game I was working on with ChatGPT. So I'm thinking. So originally I was going to do would you rather questions, but I thought we could do it like a Cards Against Humanity style, where every day you get a question and then you answer it, and then the last day's question, so if you go to me, I'll haunt you with, will come up, and then you can choose whether you think those answers are funny or not. And you keep answering the questions till they run out or you're done, and then you pick your favourite. Once you've picked your favourite, that shows the date of the person that you're going to go on, and then if you like them, you can find out more with their profile. So that's generally kind of like what a returning user will see. But how can we use AI to make this better? So the first screen, you probably all were like, oh, there's a lot of text on that. No one's going to read that. So something that you can use is the AI rewrite. So it's right down at the bottom, same little star icon, and just say rewrite in that, and you can just click shorter. And American spelling, but it's better. It's not taking up as much space. I would probably use the formalizer in order to actually rewrite my content if I wasn't showing this. Let's say, so I'm making a prototype and I'm like, I need lots of answers. So let's say this, if you go to me, I'll haunt you with LinkedIn requests. I mean, I love a LinkedIn request. If people want to add me on LinkedIn, go for it. But let's say that's not very funny. So you can, again, use the rewriter, and say, make funnier. I hope this is funnier. That's not bad. Not bad. I don't know if I give it a smile, but it's all right. So yes, you can use it to kind of rewrite your content in your prototype, which I think is quite helpful. Sticking with the kind of rewrite thing. So let's say we've got Gannon's profile and we've got Amelia's, and our AI compatibility tool is saying they're only a 42% match, which is probably, like, I've written this, so there's no AI compatibility match at the moment, but but it's probably true, because like if she's child free and he wants kids, they're probably not going to have a very good match. However, if you were trying to present to kind of like investors, you probably want to say, oh, he's going to find love. So we can make it more positive. So at the moment, you've got this, it's going to make it difficult to build a lasting connection, or it's not good. You can say, make more positive. They're going to build a strong connection that celebrates both spontaneity and planning. Well, my heart. So yeah, like Gannon's in there. What I don't like is it takes away my bold. But anyway. Something else that you can do with it. So Gannon is actually fluent in Japanese. So let's say he wants to show off on his profile, because that always goes down well. Translate to. A rewrite in Japanese? I do not know. I suppose we could ask Gannon if that is the correct translation. However, I saw it, I was like, that's pretty cool. What else can it do? Okay, so photo prompt. So, for example, like, of course, Japan is one of the places he really likes. However, maybe it's like, do you know what? It might be more exciting if I'm like skiing, because he loves like skiing as well. So, make an image, and you could be like, cool guy going fast down them. I didn't say skiing down the mountain, so I'm interested to see what it's actually going to come up with. Oh, it did. That's cool. So then you've got different pictures you can use. So we'll just pretend that's Gannon. He's like, he does a red run, but not very fast. So we'll stick that one on. But yeah, he can ski. Yeah, so as I say, it used to be would you rather questions, but I've changed that now. So something that you'll notice, like I've put Gannon all through. However, let's say you're making another profile and you want to make someone for someone called Chris, who that's his actual name. You can click on your frame. And again, using the rewriter tool, you can say change Gannon to Chris, which is weird. And whenever anyone calls Gannon Chris, it's horrible. But then it will actually change. Oh, press. Only allows 1 hour at a time for meetings. Let's stop the hour mark when we get kicked off and rejoin the call. Yeah, so if anyone wants to come back for questions, we'll just come back onto this link. If it allows that pressure, I'm not sure it does allow that. I think it stops you from being cheap and buying. So you might need to set up another link for people that want to join for questions. I'll be quick. Right, where were we? So yeah, so it's changed all the Gannon names, so that's cool. Something that could be really useful is their prototyping tool, but sometimes it doesn't work. So I'll show you. So what it should do, so basically someone should search by interest, and let's say, so this is their local map. So like 12 people are interested in going to the Jam House, and then all the dates in their local area underneath. If someone was to, so they should be able to close the map. They should be able to search by their interest. So let's say wrestling. If there's no dates in the area, it tells them. And but if they zoom out, so they go further away, then all those so it should be nice and simple. And then if they click on a date, it should go there. So that is quite simple prototyping. So if you highlight all the frames that you want and go add interactions, so the closed map, it hasn't worked out. Search by interest, it's worked out, so that's good. So that should be the location slider. So it's got, and then that it's worked out that that's that date. So it's about 70% of the way there. However, all the kind of animations and all the stuff that makes a prototype cool, it won't have done. So it gets you basically there, but you have to check everything. And then something that you'll be hearing quite a lot about is Figma's kind of design tool called First Draft. So let's say you want it to design you a date in that website. So you go to First Draft, and then you've got different options. So you can do wireframes or basic sites. I'm just going to do a basic site, so I'll show you the high fidelity. It's not brilliant. I won't lie. It is not brilliant. But if you're in a rush and you need a website, Like it gets you like you're starting to think that yes, this is not a good UX designed website. So if you want good conversion, do not use this. However, oh gosh, and the photos are just so AI, but of course they are because it's AI. We're running out of time, so I won't show you this. But the better way to do it is if you use the a risen prompt to give. So if you've got I was able to put this into my GPT of Have You Met Gannon, and it's described me an actual homepage. So as you can see, it's a lot more detailed than those 2 lines. Go on, we'll give it a go. I'm interested. It tends to be better, and like it's still not how I would design it, but if you give it more information, you're going to get better results and stuff. Anyway, we are in a rush because the time is going to expire, so we'll get off that. Presentations, Gamma.app is amazing. So let's say you've got a Word document. Let's have an elevator pitch. So let's say we've made this amazing prototype, and everyone wants to invest in Have You Met Gannon? Before they invest, you need to do a pitch deck. So I'm going to use my GPT to write myself a pressure. So if everyone has a look, you've set up a backup meeting for part 2. So where do we get the link from for that?
I'll before this call ends, I'll just share the link to it in here in the chat so everyone has it.
Yeah. Okay, cool, perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, so I will stop. Calm. But yeah, nearly done anyway. So I've got my elevator pitch. You'd probably say you'd want to make it a bit longer, but what you can do is if you go create new AI and you paste in your text. So this would be useful if you've got like a research document or something like, any sort of document really, and you want to make a presentation. I won't go through all the settings and all that. We'll just make a random one. I like a bit of pink, and we'll just generate it. And it will take all of your information, and it will make you a presentation. So you wouldn't be able to just go into a pitch meeting with this. Like, as you can see, the imagery is just like very AI. I quite like how it sets up. Like I like the icons. I like a lot of the wording it's used. So you can put something like this into Canva and then just change all of the documents. Always check everything. Maybe change some of the wording. If you need a quick presentation, like you saw how quick that was. Gannon's Promise, love it. Why Gannon? Let's make dating fun again. But yes, so that's presentations. Canva has just come up with some new AI tools, and I basically asked it to make me a homepage, and it wasn't very good. So there's nothing I found of Canva AI tools that I'm going to tell people about because they're not very good yet. I was very excited when they said you are beta. I was like, woohoo, new AI tools! But yes, no, it was a bit rubbish. Yeah, so next stage we'll be testing it. So I'm going to put together the prototype and we're going to make our MVP with my new team, and we're going to test it. I'm leaning more towards that we might have to pivot and make it more like a friend app, because the more I talk to people, the more, especially when you get to like over 30 and loads of your friends have had kids and stuff, it's very difficult to find people to do the hobbies that you want to do. So like Let's say you really like rock climbing, trying to get your friends out to go rock climbing every Tuesday. It's difficult, but if you're able to put like a date on that is about like, I want to go rock climbing, or I want to go to this restaurant or whatever, you might attract friends as well. So I'm thinking maybe we pivot to friends. The other thing is the amount of people that are childless that struggle to find relationships where where the person definitely doesn't want to have kids or has kids already is really difficult. And there's been a couple of apps that have tried it but have just not been very well designed or advertised. So, but this is why you test. So you test to see where you kind of hit and stuff like that. But that's kind of the next stages. So once I've built it all, that's going to be testing, and of course you can use your AI tools to help with that sort of stuff. And that's me done. So this, as I say, these are the people that have agreed to help so far. If you guys would like to help, if you'd like to be up for a test, please let me know. But the AI tool handout that I mentioned that has got all, so the prompts are all at the bottom. That is also available there as well. So all you need to do is scan it or message me on LinkedIn, that's fine as well, and just say you want a copy of the handout, just put your email address in and I'll send that over to you. I update that all the time, so every time I see a new tool, I'll usually mention it on LinkedIn, but that's it. So that's me, all done. Right, so I think I can hand back over, so I'll stop sharing.
Thank you, Becky. That was awesome.
Oh, I need a water now.
Yeah, you can take a quick break, and if anyone else needs to take a quick break as well, please do. We'll take a 5 minute. But what I would suggest, because of the hour limit, we've got just under 5 minutes left. I'm sure there's plenty of people that have got questions for you, Becky, including myself. So what we'll do is come back at 7 o'clock. I'm going to post the new link in the chat. So that's there now. Please open that link. And that's where we'll rehost the next call. So that'll be the question and answer session. And we can stay on that call. But really insightful stuff. Looking forward to you sharing that material as well. And I'll get onto your quick QR code as well and check it out.
I'll go grab a cup of tea then. Right, see you at
7. 7 o'clock then for everybody else if you want to rejoin and ask questions to Becky. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
I'm gonna kick it off.